Every year, investors ask me, who are the best developers in Dubai? But that's actually the wrong question. The real question is, which developers are best positioned for the next phase of the market? Because Dubai real estate works in cycles. Developers rise, adapt, and reposition, or fall behind. So today, I'll reflect on the top 10 best developers in Dubai who have proven to be leading the market in this year, but also based on the previous performance. This ranking is not permanent, not sponsored, or not marketing driven. It's based on what I've seen on the ground, how developers performed in 2024 to 2025, delivery history, tenant and owner feedbacks, resale liquidity, and most importantly, how they are adapting for 2026 and beyond. This is simply my personal observation and my personal ranking, so it might change in the next year, but let's see which ones have made it to the top 10. So let's start from number 10 and work our way up to number 1. Also, stay tuned till the end because I'll give out some honorable mentions as well. And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Dar Global makes it to the top 10 this year and is the international real estate arm of Dar Al Khan, one of Saudi Arabia's largest developers. Actually, Dar Al Khan is the largest developer in Saudi Arabia by market value. Based in Riyadh and established in 1994, the company has close ties to the Saudi government and is listed on the London Stock Exchange. Dar Global plays a transformational role in every market it enters, contributing to local economies, attracting FDI, and enhancing global appeal. It has projects across 14 cities and 9 countries, and a growing hospitality portfolio that include developments in Dubai, the Maldives, and Oman. Historically, as we can see, Dar Global positioned itself as a cross-border luxury company, delivering projects in London, Spain, Oman, Saudi Arabia, and now in Dubai. Here in Dubai, their focus is pretty clear: iconic architecture and branded residences. And because of their global name recognition and the strategic partnerships that they have, including Trump Organization, Aston Martin, Eli Saab, Pagani, it signals where they're going: premium, internationally marketed, and high-quality lifestyle assets. Most recently, in this year, we had the launch of the Trump Tower in Dubai.
Good things come to those who wait. Great things come to those who don't. The world's most talked about name is now in Dubai. Welcome to the first and only Trump International Hotel and Tower in the Middle East,
Which has really made the news, and because of all this buzz and the reputation that they have in the market, strong branding and actually strong execution as well, they have ranked 10 into my list today. They're very interesting but selective, so not all the projects that they launch have been delivered, so we're definitely gonna watch and see how they do this, as we cannot place them higher now as there is still limited track record delivery in Dubai, but for 2026 they're definitely to watch, and more of a long-term brand play and probably capital appreciation than rental yield. The next in line we have IMTIAZ Developments, which has quietly grown from a small local developer into a design-conscious premium brand. Historically, IMTIAZ focused on compact residential projects, gradually improved finishing quality, and shifted towards stronger architectural identity. Their recent collaboration with Zaha Hadid Architects marked a turning point, not just visually, but in market perception. One of the most iconic launches in the Meydan horizon, Zaha Hadid Architects and IMTIAZ Symphony Tower has crystal lagoon frontage, wildlife sanctuary views, and premium fully furnished residences. And this, I'm just reading from the information that I got at the launch date, and that was quite surprising. Not only because of the partnership that they did, but also by the ease of payments. They were accepting the EOI at 100,000 dirhams, multiple types of apartments, but also you can pay by different methods. Generally, I might have not been as excited by those kind of collaborations in other areas, but this is a pretty good location, and also if you have that name, well, that speaks for itself. So why they ranked for me at number 9 is they have really good improvement year on year, at least for what I'm observing. They also have attractive pricing compared to other larger developer brands, and they have growing appeal towards design-based buyers. They're not really a volume developer, but for boutique investors, that's a strength. Now, next in line is Damak Properties, one of Dubai's most recognizable and sometimes debated developers. However, I cannot place them in the top 10, especially for me, because I personally invested with them and I've seen the value grown tremendously through the past years. And you tell me everything, but it worked and it's continuing to do so. Historically, Damak is one of the biggest drivers of Dubai's off-plan cycles. It has a very strong international marketing reach, and the most important, and which actually made them to go into the top 10, it's because it has a massive product range from entry level to ultra luxury. So while they might not be focused into a specific segment and basically like Meraz probably just doing very low floor, low rise building, Damak actually comprises everything. And to be ranked in the top, you have to comprise everything. Why I specifically ranked it in the top 10 this year is that in 2025, Damak reminded the market of its power by achieving the Guinness World Records sales with the Damak Islands Phase 2. And the record was for selling over 11 billion dirhams, which is roughly $3 billion in less than 5 hours. And that was during its launch event in the Coca-Cola Arena in Dubai, breaking their own previous record from Phase 1 and cementing its status for the top waterfront investments. So the Damak ranks as number 8 for me, at least in this year, because it really has an unmatched liquidity and buyer reach. Most importantly, it has strong rental performance in very strategic locations such as Business Bay and Dubai Marina. And mainly speaking from my own experience in Business Bay, where most of my portfolio was comprised of Damak towers, and that is one-bedroom apartments that were renting really quick and at very high yields. I wouldn't say it's as consistent across all projects, and due diligence is always critical. So while Damak is maybe not for everyone, but when chosen correctly, I really think it performs spectacularly well and definitely exceeded my personal expectations. Because if I'll give you my personal example, when I first bought in Dubai, it was actually a Damak apartment. And at that time, I wasn't sure what I'm doing. I wasn't sure if it's going to perform well, but it really exceeded the expectations. And by the way, it didn't X3 or X4 as many other ultra rare units or townhouses or villas nowadays. However, it brought me really high rental yields, and it was in a very strategic location such as Business Bay, which was very liquid and easy to sell. Next, we have Ellington Properties, which has built its reputation on the design, integrity, and livability. Historically, Ellington was focused on end-user experience over mass sales, so on the opposite side of the Damak story, and it also built a very loyal owner base. At least from my experience, I see that people who worked with Ellington or invested in there, they continue to do so. Projects in Business Bay and Meydan, for example, nowadays show thoughtful layouts, higher finishing standards, and pretty strong tenant satisfaction. Some of the most recent projects that I personally looked on were the Riverton House in Meydan Horizon. They were pretty big, 1 bedrooms and also 2 bedrooms with average internal area of around 700 square foot for the 1 bedrooms, which is much higher than the other developers in Business Bay or Meydan, and also in and around 1,100 to 1,300 square foot for a 2 bedroom, which is also pretty big. So why Ellington ranks 7 for me, at least in this year, is that it has a pretty strong rental appeal, but also most importantly, a excellent resale appeal, because the buyer would be the end users and they would actually prefer to pay a premium, but just to move in right away. It has a strong brand trust and less volatility during market corrections, at least from what I've been researching. A very interesting developer, a classic defense play when the market is unstable, so definitely worth checking. Next, we have a developer which has one of the strongest delivery records in Dubai, and this is Select Group. Historically, it was focused on prime waterfront locations, avoided overexpansion, and definitely prioritized delivery and handover quality. One project that I really like and has been handed over in the last few months is the Peninsula in Business Bay, with high end user satisfaction, strong tenant demand, and while maybe not the highest rental yields, still very stable rental yields, and definitely will have some steady capital appreciation in the long run. So while I'm not saying that this is a developer that usually will X2 or X3, because I think they price them pretty high at the launch, which actually makes sense because the quality they deliver is actually worth it. So that probably is going to be one of those investments which will just steadily grow. It's not going to go up and down, so it's very, very stable. That's why in this today's ranking, Select ranked number 6, mainly because of its predictable performance. Besides Peninsula, I was also observing the construction of 15th Northside, which was another tower in Business Bay, and it was literally in front of the place where I was living when I first moved to Dubai. I went there, checked the apartments, checked the gyms, which was really, really good. A very stunning infinity pool overlooking the Dubai skyline, and that made the second point, which is the strong resale activity. So it's an excellent long-term ownership experience because Select don't chase the hype, but they deliver consistency. Now, next we have a developer that I have been mentioning this year, and that is Majid Al Futtaim, or MAF. And this is not just a developer, it builds a lifestyle ecosystem. Historically, MAF built malls, communities, and really long-term projects focused on end-user demand, and it was thinking in decades, not years. Most recently, I mentioned them in the 5 top areas to invest right now in Dubai, and one of those was Tilal Al Ghaf, which is a stunning villa destination and master community by MAF here in Dubai, and their sister location Ghaf Woods for apartments and sustainable living. In the Tilal Al Ghaf community, there are different neighborhoods, and some of these such as Alaya, Amara, Aura, Beaumont, but also Elysian Mansions, which is more waterfront and will be overlooking the pristine lagoon of Tilal Al Ghaf. While not public, this is a 122-meter private beach accessible only to the villa residents. This definitely redefines the building of the master communities in Dubai and gives something more rare and more unique, and that's why we saw such hype at the resale of these villas. So for me, MAF definitely is in the top 10 and ranks 5 for this year, mainly because of this community and building something just for the end users, not simply for investors and for flipping. It has very strong family-driven demand, most importantly, excellent long-term capital preservation, because we all know that the townhouses and villas in Dubai are super rare, very limited, and it's always a good investment. Finally, it has limited speculative exposure. So MAF is definitely for investors with a bigger budget who value resilience over speed. Next in line, we have Meraz, which previously I ranked as the top #1 best developer in Dubai. However, this year it's still in the top 10 and it's still consistently delivering Dubai's most iconic destinations. Meraz was established in 2007 and it's famous for the Blue Waters Island, City Walk, La Mer, and Nad Al Sheba villas. So Meraz is definitely having some of the best quality from all the developers in this market. It has low-rise units, lifestyle integration, and most importantly, scarcity over demand. Meraz doesn't flood the market, and rarely you will even be able to get and grab a unit at the launch price. In this year, I placed them in the top, and for me it was number 4 because they delivered and launched some amazing projects in Nad Al Sheba, specifically for very high-end investors. I've also mentioned them in the previous 5 best areas to invest in Dubai if you have the right amount of money. That's probably why I wouldn't push them higher right now, just because recently they've been focusing on ultra high net worth investors, and it was really difficult to find anything at a more affordable price. However, if you do find anything, then definitely don't hesitate. This is one of the best investments you'll ever make. Next, we have Beyond, which is the evolution of Omniad. So Beyond is a newly luxury real estate brand established under the arm of Omniad in 2024, focused on wellness-centric, nature-integrated communities with modern architecture, expanding beyond Omniad's usual ultra-luxury niche. So while historically Omniad dominated the ultra-luxury, delivered architectural icons, and catered to ultra-net worth buyers, with Beyond they target a wider audience and maintain the design DNA. Main focus is Dubai Maritime City, and it's one of the other 5 areas that I mentioned previously on this channel. Beyond's Dubai Maritime City master plan, it's spanning 8 million square feet across DMC, blends architecture, nature, and lifestyle into a seamless experience on the Dubai Maritime City coastline. It features vibrant districts including the Cove, the Forest, the Promenade, each offering different senses of place. So definitely Beyond this year was making headlines with many launches in Dubai Maritime City. And also, very interestingly, I'm now looking at a very recent offer from Beyond, which shows that it has a pretty good payment plan schedule as well, with 10% being paid immediately on booking, and within 1 month of booking another 10%, and then only in 6 months you would pay the 5% and continue doing that once in 4 months. So while the payment plan schedules and structures may vary across different projects, still very sustainable, very good, and I think that's definitely priced well for such a destination. I mean, it's waterfront, and waterfront always sells in Dubai. That's why Beyond ranks number 3 for me, mainly because of premium quality on broader price points and strong investor anticipation for 2026 and beyond. This one is definitely one to watch closely. I personally think this could be a very good play for capital appreciation long term, and if you're looking at grabbing the best units at the off-plan launches from Beyond, I have now partnered back for 2026 with WIM Real Estate, who specialize in early access for these specific units, investor-focused pricing, and proper deal structuring. And literally the offer that I was talking on just previously was sent to me by Imad from WIM Real Estate, who actually curated for me for one of our investor clients who really wanted something unique with a good full maritime sea view. And we were not only able to find the right unit for him, but also get a corner unit with a great payment plan. So if you're looking at the same or want to be in the loop with the new launches from Beyond, check the links in the description and reach out to Imad and team, who will help you find and secure the right investment unit. Number 2 is Emaar Properties, and Emaar is the backbone of Dubai's real estate. Historically, Emaar built downtown, built Burj Khalifa, and set community standards that were elevated every single time. Most importantly, it defined long-term capital appreciation and preservation. Today, from Emaar, we have jewels such as Dubai Creek Harbor, which is a master community where I chose to live, and it's really developing every single day. We have newer communities for ultra high end buyers like the Valley, but we also have Dubai South with very long-term plays on apartments that are more affordable, and yet there are also polo projects with villas and townhouses surrounding the same area. Moreover, it has sub-brands such as the Address, Vida, and Palace. So definitely Emaar covers it all. I mean, it needs no introduction. For me, Emaar this year was consistently performing very good with new projects arising in Dubai Creek Harbor, in Dubai South, newer areas and communities being built. The scale is unmatched and the trust is definitely there. And because of that, and because of the strong resale liquidity, Emaar definitely ranks on top for this year. Emaar is not about the hype, it's about reliability. I guess the only challenge that I had with Emaar, and some other investors might do as well, is that the payment plan is pretty strict. You have to do 10% every 6 months and so on. There are not many means of payment comment being accepted. However, that also proves that they know what they are doing and you have to respect their own rules. So if you're looking for stable long-term performance, then definitely MR is in the top and will continue to be so. Now, number one for me in 2026, well, based on 2024, 25, this year's performance, the number one is Shoba Group. And that's because Shoba was elevating every single month, every single previous year. And we've been hearing a lot of feedback from owners, from tenants, that the quality is improving. The projects are simply covering all kinds of areas from very affordable smaller apartments to different master communities such as Shoba Heartland. We've also had the District 1, which is a Maidan Group partnership with Shoba, and they have amazing villas there, but also they have amazing lagoons with apartments at all kinds of price points. Moreover, there is Shoba 1, which is definitely a different benchmark for quality, expansion into motor cities and other newer communities. Honestly, Shoba has taken full control of its own vertical integration, full control over quality, and no outsourcing compromises. So Shoba for me ranks on the top because of the consistent quality performance, strong end user demand, and long-term asset durability. It's been there for the past few years, and I usually would have ranked Meraz or MR, but this year Shoba really targeted all kind of end users and buyer types, and that's why I think it deserves, for this year at least, the top spot. I mean, honestly, the projects are literally targeting everything, and you will find anything you want. They even built outside of Dubai in the neighbor emirate. Al Quwain is the Shoba Sinia island. So really, I'm not saying all these projects are the best, but I'm saying as a brand overall, it captured literally everything, and plus with the consistency on the quality and good feedback from the buyers, from the tenants, it definitely takes the top spot. Nevertheless, I told you that there will be some honorable mentions for this year as well, and number one is Aldar, which is a Abu Dhabi based developer who started building in Dubai, so it has a very strong Abu Dhabi record, and Dubai pipeline is still forming, so it had really some good launches that sold in minutes, such as the Wild by Aldar, and that's why it's definitely a good mention, but we still have to see how they will deliver to rank them on top. Another one is Arada, which is a Sharjah-based developer, but we've seen a lot of interest from the end users and from investors specifically for their townhouses in their Masar master projects, so definitely another very good developer to watch. Finally, from other honorable mentions in Dubai, there's Wassal and Iman, which just from my own experience had really high client interest and very solid execution. I mean, both of them, they have multiple projects, and most importantly, why I'm mentioning them is that many of my clients were choosing them to live in there, and that's why it definitely signals that they're onto something. Now, this ranking might change, and that's healthy. The best developers are always the ones who adapt to the market cycles, respect the buyers, give really good incentives to actually trust them and trust them with your own money, and wait for the handovers in the case of a off-plan investment, and most importantly, build assets that will age well, which means that the quality is definitely over quantity. Nevertheless, I hope you found this ranking useful. I hope you found some insights from this video. So if you did so, please share in the comments below. Dubai remains one of the strongest markets in real estate globally. So if you're interested, if you want to find out more, or you want some customized, tailored advisory, then reach out to me in the links in the description, because I do one-on-one advisory calls, and I also offer sourcing services to find your unit in an unbiased way, in the best way possible. So with that, I thank you for watching. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you in 2026.